So now we're back with more of the Absolute Universe with Absolute Batman number 3. Now, on the last issue, we saw Batman break into mayoral candidate Hill's office to try and find any level of dirt, anything, to figure out if he's connected to all this crime in Gotham. And while Batman is looking through the files, trying to figure things out, it turns out this was a trap by Roman, leader of the Party Animals, the gang that has been destroying Gotham. Extremely violent people. And Batman has, for the most part, been matching their brutality. Now, it looked like he had no way out. It looked like he was done. But it's Batman, so of course he escapes, and he and Alfred, inside his giant monster truck, run through everyone in the GCPD, and that issue ends on a flashback of when Bruce was still mourning the death of his father, and we see a little girl in the window telling him to come outside. Selina Kyle. Now, Selina leaves his window with one of his medals, forcing him to chase her as they play around the rooftops of Gotham, jumping building to building. But Bruce is a little nervous, so she tries to tell him, keep your eyes forward like a cat, teaching him how to be more confident while scaling these buildings. But even with that advice, Bruce is not used to this, and he does still lose his footing, and he almost falls off the building. Selina is able to grab his arm and remind him, keep your eyes forward like a cat, as they start to hold hands. Now we go back to the present where Alfred is pissed at Batman. He prides himself on being nobody, someone who can blend into any surrounding. Dozens of passports, dozens of identities, spent decades building up the ability to be stealthy, only to be in this giant monster truck shaped like a goddamn bat barreling through Gotham. The exact opposite of a stealthy approach. As he asks Batman why he's doing this, he can't barrel through the city. Eventually they will be taken over. But Batman told him something in the last issue. He had 30 seconds to make his point. What does he need from Batman? And now the clock is ticking because the party animals are catching up to this truck and they're starting to shoot at Alfred. Now here we get another one of those examples of the Absolute Universe, changing some things around while also keeping some things the same. See, Roman Sionis, leader of the party animals, also goes by Black Mask, same thing as the OG universe. But instead of just being some crime boss, he's a leader of a secret paramilitary group that helps a lot of powerful people. So if Alfred is correct, this runs a bit deeper than just simple crime. It runs a bit deeper than some crime boss. This may be an actual powerful person with unlimited resources hired to do a job, to destabilize Gotham, to cause fear and panic. Which is why he's trying to enlist Batman and help him take down Black Mask. He may be far more dangerous and way too powerful to fight on his own. Now, outside of all the information we got on Roman, things take a very cool turn because the party animals are just laying waste to Gotham trying to destroy this giant truck Batman is in. And as he keeps counting down, although Alfred is giving him the information he needs, they need to get away. They need to actually get some space between them and all this gunfire. So Alfred tells him, we're not even going to last 5 damn seconds and we can't get out of here. We need to get into something actually fast. As Batman tells him, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. And somehow, with this brilliant engineering mind, he was able to make this truck condense into the Batmobile. So this whole time, this thing was the Batmobile. As it transforms like some Michael Bay Autobot into the Batmobile, and with homemade jet boosters that he put on this thing, completely leaves everyone in the dust. As Alfred changes his tune on Batman, and his little inner monologue says, I may actually love the Batman. See, it has a hatch where it shoots little bat projectiles filled with electrical charges that absolutely shreds the party animals. Now after this, Alfred continues to talk to Batman, and he has a pretty good plan. See, he heard the proposal that Roman gave to Batman. He believes he should take it. By meeting with Roman and agreeing to step back as Batman and stop attacking the party animals, their attacks would no longer be as ramped up. See, Batman has been getting more brutal as the party animals get more brutal, and things have only gotten worse. But if Batman stops, he believes Roman will actually make the party animals limit their attacks. Not only this, he would give Bruce a massive payday. Not only would this limit the fighting, if not stop it, saving a lot of lives, but because Black Mask does work for the richest people on the planet, this deal would be for $100 million, maybe more, giving Bruce a massive payday. And he's already an incredibly capable Batman without having a lot of money. So with all this money, Batman could be a real impact on Gotham. He could be a true hero, and he would save lives in the process. And even Alfred wins because he believes Roman will be forced to do some transactions with his people, giving them exactly what they need to make them back off as well. The assassin would leave, Batman would leave, Roman would chill out, the party animals would stop. It all sounds too perfect to be true. Now, of course, Batman is not happy with this because it sounds like at the end of the day, Roman does escape after doing everything he did in Gotham. But again, Alfred says not quite. He says they'll use the intel they got to apprehend him later, down the line. He even promises Batman, we all win. We'll just have to handle him at a later date. Now finally, Batman has stopped his countdown. He is listening to Alfred and he understands everything he's saying. But now they're finally cornered by the GCPD. The destruction stops here. There's nowhere left to go. So Alfred tells him, "We make a pretty good team, kid. How are we gonna get out of this one?" And in a very funny twist, Batman tells him, "The lever right in front of you." And as Alfred pulls it, he's ejected from the Batmobile and he lands right in the water. As it turns out, this Batmobile can also go underwater, and he goes into one of his many different safe houses and Batcaves, but he leaves Alfred behind. Now we go back to the same flashback we've been seeing, where Bruce and Selina finally get to their destination. This spot where a bunch of cats meet up and show a lot of love to Selina. See, Selina is a foster kid. She's been going home to home, and this makes number 4. Something always happens where someone will take her in, and eventually it just doesn't work out. And Bruce even offers for her to stay with him. His mother loves Selina, but she doesn't really want to hear it. She's done being passed around from house to house, and she wants to talk about something nice. As she takes Bruce to the movies and shows him Zorro, something that visibly pisses Bruce off. See, although this version of Bruce did not go see Mark of Zorro, leave, go into Crime Alley, and watch his parents be gunned down, he was told at the beginning of issue 1 that the Mark of Zorro is the film that his father and mother watched when they met. So this is still very important to him. So Selina putting it on, it's kind of hitting on an old wound. The reason they're even out here is because he was sitting there crying about the death of his father, about how his life has turned out so far. So I don't think this was the best movie to show him. And obviously, he's not amused. Now we get back to the present where Bruce is asking his friend Eddie how these ape skulls work. The skulls that the party animals like to wear. They have a lot of different functions, but what I find very strange about this is he's clearly building some kind of robot that he wants Bruce to talk to. Now with the green and purple color scheme, I thought immediately that he was building Brainiac. But we saw Brainiac in Absolute Superman, so that can't be what it is. Now he wants Bruce to call the robot Al, but he was also contemplating the name Riddleman, which of course got me thinking that maybe although Eddie is obviously the Riddler, he's building a robot that is actually the Riddler. I just don't really know what he's doing with this or what it will become. But this robot does actually help Bruce with some information. See, not only does the mask hide the identity of the people wearing it, but it also connects them to this cryptocurrency website that pays them for different levels of violence. Murder, robbery, arson. This is why the party animals are so damn violent. They're being paid for each crime. So of course Bruce wants to know how can he disrupt this process? Can he destroy the website? Can he disrupt the connection between these 8 masks and the people that are doing all these crimes? How can he stop this? But there doesn't really seem to be a way. They're not just connected via the website, they have satellites. There are masks all over the world, thousands of them. There is just nothing Bruce can actually do to stop these masks from being distributed, which would stop the violence entirely. And since he's not able to disconnect them from the server, which is based on the satellites, there's nothing he can do to stop these people from getting paid. It looks like, in this situation, he is powerless. Which, if you guys remember earlier in this issue, is exactly what Alfred tried to tell him. Black Mask is simply too big. Too many resources. He cannot do this alone. But Batman doesn't really believe this, especially since Eddie already told him this robot was given 4/5 of all human knowledge. So technically, he doesn't know everything. As he tries to ask Eddie, what should he do? But Eddie's got the same tune. He wants him to destroy the mask and forget about this. As the robot responds, "I may not know everything, but I know this much. He doesn't want to help you even if he could." Now Eddie does try to level with Bruce. He lets him know that he's really intelligent. He sees things that not everybody else can see. This is why friendship is so difficult for him, why he cherishes his friendship with Bruce, and why he's begging him to let this go. He can see what kind of road this is leading down, but before they can finish this conversation, Harvey calls, only really to give him more bad news. See, these people are funded by some very powerful people, even some illegally powerful people. See, Alfred already told him Black Mask may actually just be too powerful to take on by yourself. But Bruce is seeing from each of his friends who've got little connections here and there that it might be the case. They've basically got infinite money, infinite reach, satellites connected to these helmets that are paying people out in cryptocurrency for different levels of violence. It looks like there is really nothing Bruce can do, and this could all lead to Bruce actually taking that deal that Black Mask offered him and actually just backing the hell off. But now we end up getting to mayoral candidate Hill, who's bringing Commissioner Harvey Bullock on a boat to meet with the leader of the party animals, Roman Sionis. And we see him training with a former Gotham champion in boxing. Not that you can really call this training because the fight ends up very brutal, very fast. But he's explaining himself to Harvey Bullock, talking about how he's a professional pacifist, how he helps bring peace to troubled areas. As he's bobbing and weaving, this giant boxer twists his leg to pieces, strangles him until his eyes almost pop out of his head. I mean, clearly, Roman is nothing to play with. And he continues to manipulate Harvey Bullock, even offering some of his immense resources to help him quell all of this rage and destruction in Gotham between the party animals and even Batman himself, someone that Bullock does not fully trust. So this is crazy, but the manipulation games that he's playing is working beautifully. He's running circles around Batman. And speaking of Batman, we see he's finally starting to understand just how out of his league he is. He sees that there are different black sites, things that are called arcs. And they're all around the world, in Russia and China, and the newest one is set up to be in Gotham. He's finally starting to see just how much he could lose if he doesn't take this threat seriously, if he doesn't treat it accordingly. He cannot do this on his own. And for once, he may actually have to compromise to save lives. Now we're back in the past where Bruce is still trying to storm out because Zorro was on, but Selina is trying to tell him something. He can't just wall himself out. He's got skills and gifts the other kids don't have, and he needs to make use of them. This is his chance to actually mean something. But as he continues to try and leave, all of his friends show up, swarming him with popcorn and love, and they force him to sit and watch the movie with them together. Bruce has an amazing support system no matter how much he tries to wall out all that love. And we see his mother, and I couldn't figure out if she followed them to the movies and she's also watching it, or because I don't see anyone in her actual view, this is just one of the times that she goes to see Zorro by herself, because again, this is where she met Bruce's father. Either way, we also see his mother at the movie smiling, reminiscing over old times. And now we're back in the present where we see Bruce speaking to his mother. He wants her to lay low. The party animals are attacking officials, they're ramping up their violence, he wants to protect her. But she's actually doing the exact opposite. Instead of laying low, instead of chilling out on all of her campaigns, she's trying to step in as Jim's deputy mayor. This will put a target right on her back for the party animals. Bruce cannot be everywhere. Not only that, he's learning that it's bigger than the party animals. Their reach is too vast. Resources are too much. Roman Sionis is simply too powerful. And his mom is being stubborn. There's nothing he can do to protect her, but he does his best. And she lets him know she believes in what Jim is doing, but Bruce tries to tell her, what if it's all just too big? What if this is too much for even her to handle? And of course he's projecting a little bit because he just figured out this is too big and he can't handle all of this. He can't actually stop Roman Sionis. But she lets him know, you try anyway. That's who we are, that's who I am, that's who your father was. As Bruce says, and look how it turned out for him. Which is a pretty messed up thing to say to your widowed mother. So instead of slapping him, she kisses him and she leaves, ready to put that target right on her back for the party animals to attack her, as Bruce sits there defeated. As we see Alfred watching his own daughter, saying, see kid, you can't protect them. It doesn't matter how brave you are, or how skilled you are, or how right you are. There's only one thing you can do to keep them safe, as we see his daughter almost spot him and he drives off in his van. As he continues, Bruce needs to accept that he can't do anything. Look around, past your fists, at all the people who get hurt. Look up, past the towers, the satellites, at the forces at work. A whole sky tilted against you, and then look down past your feet at how far you could fall, and do the only good thing you can. As we see Gotham getting worse, we see the news stations talking about how bad things are, and it looks like Roman was able to convince Harvey Bullock, and he has actually endorsed mayoral candidate Hill, betraying Gordon. Everything's just falling into place for Roman, and as Batman starts to finally see there truly is nothing he can do, he's offered $200 million and the violence will ramp down a little bit. All he has to do is chill out for a week. And once they leave, Batman can be something real in Gotham. With that kind of money, he could be like our OG Batman, all kinds of tech, all kinds of pharmacies and different schools and orphanages. He can truly help Gotham, but he's got to do something he doesn't want to do. He has to compromise. He has to look away as Batman takes the deal. And I will catch you guys on the next issue.